What I don't understand is how from here to there, the guy couldn't make it. He got his head chopped off because he couldn't make it 25 feet. Makes no sense.
Welcome to Laughing Historically. I'm Brandon.
I'm Nevin Warner, back from the grave, obviously. Yeah.
In spirit of the season, we are in the Halloween capital of the world.
Yes.
Sleepy Hollow, New York.
Or in America.
Or America.
Not in Mexico. It's a little different over
The
there.
man who put Sleepy Hollow on the map was one Washington Irving.
Yes.
And he is a character in history that's not really
Mentioned.
He's not mentioned.
He's not mentioned at all.
But he has incredible history.
Yes.
He's probably the first world-renowned American author.
Yeah, he was like the J.K. Rowling
of the time.
A lot of the time. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he's responsible for Rip Van Winkle.
Yep.
He brought Santa Claus to America. He was responsible for everyone thinking that Columbus discovered the world was round. And his first real hit, his first world-renowned hit, was The Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, it was like a short story, part of a collection.
Part of a collection.
Yeah.
1820, which is in the years between Frankenstein and Dracula.
Oh, this is kind of like the whole supernatural catching on.
Which is funny because Dracula and Frankenstein's monster go on to be like massive stars. Now, Mary Shelley, the writer of Frankenstein, actually became good friends with Washington Irving.
He had like a collection of like literary friends.
Yeah,
like Wadsworth, like Irving's friends with Byron. He was good friends with Charles Dickens.
Good friend of Charles Dickens.
His son was actually, his name was Ebenezer. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. So Irving lived here in Tarrytown.
Yeah, he lived He didn't grow up here though. He grew up in New York City when there was a smallpox infection, which happened apparently frequently though at that time. They had to go to another area, countryside. So his family moved here for a little bit.
Yeah, and he kind of fell in love with the area. Yeah. And he based lots of his stories here.
The mysticism, because the Dutch, I love how the Dutch, oh yes, Dutch studies.
Yeah, well, this is the height, the 1820s, this is the height of American spiritualism.
Yeah, so
So this is when people actually believed in monsters. It was common knowledge that ghosts existed. Oh. Everyone was so into it.
Yeah.
If you had a ghost in your house, like, oh, okay, yeah, I have a ghost in my house.
You had a problem. You can't call the Ghostbusters. You are done.
It's done.
You better move.
Yeah. And so the Dutch and the Germans were all over this area. And, that's why New York used to be called New Amsterdam.
Correct.
And the Headless Horseman legend comes right out of an old German
tale.
folklore.
Yes, correct.
And he took that character and he put it in here, Sleepy Hollow.
Here. Exactly here.
Yeah. And the characters in this tale are based on real people that Irving knew.
Yeah. With Ichabod Crane, he's down that way. I feel kind of dreary saying like, oh yeah, he's down that way.
Down that way.
There's Katrina Van Tassel, she's down that way.
Katrina Van Tassel's down that way.
The author's up that way.
Yeah. It was based on a real school teacher that he knew in the area.
Yeah, he served in the military with him, and they became good friends. And Ichabod kind of, adopted the name.
And there might have been there might have been Ichabod and a school teacher, two different people.
Yeah, okay.
But Ichabod, the character, he's sort of a jerk.
Yeah, he's like a lanky, pestering person.
Yeah, he doesn't fall in love with Katrina until he learns that her dad has
tons of money and food. And food. Apparently, Ichabod Crane, he has an eating problem. Yeah. Because he loves food.
He's a real character of this area because he becomes so infatuated with the folklore and the scary stories. Yeah. And this is a scary story about his scary stories.
Because Ichabod believed, at least not the real Ichabod. Confused the two together. Yeah. The fictional Ichabod, he is very much into ghost stories. Yeah. That's what whole story is all about.
So the climax of the short story happened there. It happened here.
Yeah.
That's the church. Behind it is the bridge. And that's the climactic sequence where Ichabod is coming.
The Bridge of Souls.
The Bridge of Souls.
Yeah, Bridge of Souls.
He's coming back from the party after hearing all these tall tales about the Headless Horseman.
Yeah, Brom Bones,
Yeah, Brom Bones is getting him really scared, and he encounters the Headless Horseman. rides across the bridge, and it's incredible because these places actually exist.
Yeah.
You can't go to Frankenstein's castle. You
No,
can't go
unless you're in like, Universal Studios.
Yeah, this is the actual scary story place.
Yeah, a lot of people are here today. You can tell in the background. They're kind of getting culturized to the Halloween spirit going on.
Yeah.
It's kind of freaky though. All these people fishing these grapes. It's like it's kind of weird.
Well, that's purely American because we love to be scared. And people just come here, flood into this place.
Graveyard.
It's awesome. And it's really incredible that all these things he wrote about, he took his life and put it into a story.
Yeah, my favorite part of the whole story is by far the adaptations of it all.
Yeah.
Like there's so many like childhood adaptations for it, and they always try to make the Headless Horseman seem a little bit less like scary.
No.
And so eventually started, the original tale was all about him trying to like cut off the head, right? And then it kind of became like a whole like throwing a pumpkin at him.
It's arguably the most famous short story that ever was. And it's captivated audiences for almost 200 years. So.
It's the American story. It's the American story, guys.
So, happy Halloween.
Yeah, all Hallows Eve.